At 6, the migrants risking their lives at sea for a new life in Europe. We have an exclusive report.
Thousands of Africans take the desperate voyage from Libya into southern Europe.
Many have died on the dangerous crossing, but hundreds still try to make it every day.
For this long, hazardous journey, they had set out without any life jackets and very little water.
Good evening, welcome to the 6 o'clock news. They spend days at sea and many of them die, but despite the danger, thousands of African migrants are attempting to follow an increasingly popular route into Europe. Tonight we have more evidence of their desperate gamble. Over the last 24 hours, 100 people have been picked up off the Maltese coast.
Well, the authorities there are overwhelmed by the number of migrants using Malta as a key gateway into Europe. Most of them are from Sub-Saharan Africa, and they set off in small boats from the North Libyan coast. Many end up in Malta before attempting to fan out into the rest of mainland Europe.
Our special correspondent Gavin Hewitt is in the Maltese capital, Valletta. Gavin?
Dermot, many people on this island say they are struggling to cope with the numbers of migrants coming here, and there have been some tragic stories. Earlier this month, they found 18 bodies just off the coast here. And why this matters is increasingly Africans see Malta as a gateway to Europe, including Britain. Now, just behind me over there is the Coast Guard station, and that has been at the centre of many dramatic search and rescue operations, and we joined them on one of their missions. A dash to save lives in the Mediterranean. This is now a daily drama. We joined a Maltese patrol boat as news came in that a small craft had been spotted crowded with migrants.
He sighted a boat, a rubber dinghy with migrants on board.
Then in the middle of the sea, a dot. As we got closer, we saw people bunched together on the sides of a dinghy. Recently, many have died as thousands of Africans leave the Libyan coast heading for southern Europe. His inflatable went alongside with vital supplies. There are 44 people crammed on the sides of the dinghy, 2 of them women. And for this long, hazardous journey, they had set out without any life jackets and very little water. But now, they've been given both. It is a journey of desperation. There's no cover from the sun. The migrants are in international waters and cannot be forced. His inflatable went alongside with vital supplies. There are 44 people crammed on the sides of the dinghy, 2 of them women. And for this long, hazardous journey, they had set out without any life jackets and very little water. But now, they've been given both. It is a journey of desperation. There's no cover from the sun. The migrants are in international waters and cannot be forced detained. They're offered to be taken to Malta, but they insist on heading for Italy. But it is 90 miles away, so they continue with a compass and a 40-horsepower engine. The decision is taken to shadow them until they reach Italian waters. But they have difficulty steering, and even in the light swell, the dinghy starts filling with water. They change their minds and ask to be rescued. The crew prepare to bring them on board. Almost certainly, some of them would have drowned if they had not been intercepted. In the past 24 hours, the Maltese authorities have rescued over 100 people, but a capsized boat was also discovered with a body inside. On board, they're searched. Some have mobile phones ready to call friends in Europe. The crew are watchful. But on the faces of the rescued, relief. They have been at sea for days.
4 days today. 4 days? Yeah, today.
He went on to say he had pain in his body. Others told me they had travelled from all over Africa.
Ghana.
Ghana. Ivory Coast. From Côte d'Ivoire. From Ghana.
But huge money is being made out of these people's dreams. We learned they'd paid around $1,200 for a place in this dinghy with its few cartons of drink. After expenses, a criminal gang is making nearly $40,000 from this one journey. It is so well organised that many of the outboard engines are from the same batch.
The boats are basically made identical, one like the other, with various crossings we actually encountered. And eventually also the outboard motors have the serial numbers following one after the other.
These illegal immigrants will be detained for 18 months, but sooner or later they're likely to become new Europeans. And that's the dream that thousands are risking their lives for. There have recently been so many tragic incidents, migrants clinging to tuna nets, boats capsized and lives lost. And a UN official said here was rather like the Wild West, with no value put on human life. But what the Maltese say, that this is on such a large scale, it has to be handled on a European basis. And that means far more finance, far more equipment, far more boats and planes, far more than anything that has so far been discussed. Back to you.
Thank you, Gavin.